Hello, good evening, welcome back. This is the Student StarCraft AI tournament once again. And we had a lot of recommendations this week, so I'm very happy with that. That means I won't have to accuse myself of bias while picking games. This week will all be about something rather special, but first we'll call the shots on all those replays which have been recommended. And I must say that it's not all about the top bots, and I always like that. So the first game, and I'll slow it down, is a quick pool with a lot of Zerglings, but Protoss is defending well, and UIT Test 2 is cleaning up with a couple of Zealots versus the Zerglings. More probes coming off the line, although with 2 Zealots should be okay, and the other Zerglings, they have had enough, they head back home. And we've got another hatchery. So drone-wise, Geobot it wasn't a 4-pool or anything like that, but still there are a number of Zealots on the way, and they keep on going. Now, what have we on the Protoss end of things? We've got a lack of probes because, well, a couple of probes were called off to help them defend, but this can be quite a bit... Oh, there we've got 4 Zerglings as well. So perhaps with the 4 of them, they will be able to call down righteous vengeance upon this poor damaged Zealot, and the other one tends to run as well. Question though is, what will be the follow-up? Some overlords, oh, and the drone are trying to try to have a look at the enemy base. And the last Zealot is being brought right back home. We've got 2 gateways with 2 goons, and the goons, well, it would be very kind of them to help and defend versus the Zerglings, but this Zealot is doing quite well on its own. So with 3 goons and a forward pylon, I think that Protoss is in an okay position. And more Lings are coming, and of course 2, oh wow, at least 1 sunken and perhaps even another one, and a very quick lair. Worker count of Geobots, not the best but not the worst either. And especially compared to Protoss, that's not good. Oh, and 4 goons coming up with 1 sunken and a handful of Zerglings. The other sunken is still morphing. The Zerglings will probably die. Yes, there was only 1 left. But it might just give this sunken a little bit more time to finish. This pair of goons is led on a wild overlord chase, and although a little bit damaged, these 2 sunkens for now hold the line. We have got a lair, we've got a handful of workers on both sides, and Protoss, what are you going to do? Is there going to be an expansion, or is... Ooh, that's a lot of damaged dragoons, but more appear to be coming up. Ooh, and just waiting in for a little bit of damage while these sunkens are healing up. Geobot is making more workers, and Protoss, I feel, is a little bit lacking. It's not pumping workers full time and going for a lot of gateways. In the meanwhile, oh, I totally missed that. The sunkens were both killed, and now the goons are in the base. That's a nice time. Sorry, I can't do that, so I will do that. Here they go. The goons are waiting and are charging in, focusing their fire not on one but on both, and 2 goons die, but then we've still got 3 goons and 1 coming up from the rear for some reinforcements. And now what have we there? We've got a couple of Hydras and a couple of Zerglings. Will they be enough to help and stem the tide? The goons are focus firing the sunken, which will lead to a lot of damage, and the sunken sort of lives with a sliver of health left. Oh, and that's the most badly damaged sunken you've ever seen. Only 1 pixel of health left, and the worker count of Zerg is depressed. Protoss starting out with a natural, and these goons taking their time, which is not good. The question is, how is Zerg ever coming to... Oh, there we go. Those are lurker eggs. And lurkers, of course, can be quite good against dragoons, especially as there is no detection and the goons take a lot of damage. We've got... Oh, I thought there was 1, but there are actually 2 stacked right on top of each other, and now 2 sunkens. With some Zerglings, and this sunken has been able to regain some health. That's quite good of it. And now the Protoss is in a bit of a fix, but you never know, perhaps there will be a sort of observer tech coming up. Worker count is increasing again for Zerg, and Protoss cannot let this go on for too long. We've now got 3 lurkers and more sunkens coming up. Anything happening in the main, another hatchery and another lurker. So Zerg is going to be in a good position, and Protoss, well, it's okay, but it's just refusing to build any kind of useful tech to help them counter the lurkers. Now, third base up, started for Zerg. And Geobot, although not playing brilliantly, is recovering. It's quite tenacious, and all these lurkers do a lot of damage. And meanwhile, there are about 7 or 8 lurkers, and the drone transfer in full progress. And the Protoss doesn't pick up on that. Protoss expanding once again, but without detection, it's not going to work. The hatchery is up, and you can see with 33 workers, Zerg is going to be swinging in a little bit. The lurkers all unburrowed there. There are a lot of lurkers. And army-wise, Zerg is even ahead on the Protoss right now. Protoss, the third base is up. Natural is running. But, oh, here we go. Rover Bay, so perhaps we might see an observer after all. But meanwhile, a lot of lurkers have been created, and the lurkers are on the move. Zerglings cutting the space for the lurkers to advance. And in a grand leapfrog action, expanding all the lings. But the lurkers can... Oh, and this is... That was all the goons, because there are about 20 or 30 lurkers heading up for Zerg. And what will we see? We will see more lurkers. This is going to be very quick and very bloody. Look at all the lurkers burrowed there. These goons get one-shotted. Every single last one of them. And you can see that the lurkers are so many, they're impeding each other's movement. And although there is a robo bay, there is an observatory, hurrah! And there is an observer too. Where though, I do not know. Can you see it? I cannot. But meanwhile, that has been a little bit of a moot point, because although the lurkers are so many, they can't really make their way up the ramp. Where is that? There ought to be an observer somewhere. I don't know where it is, but it's there. No, that's a probe. Hard to see, and the lurkers, they can't make their way up the ramp. There are almost 50 lurkers right now, and Geobot just keeps building them. So that's going to block the ramp. No, not for a high rate, it doesn't. Only of 3 bases and 43 lurkers. That's quite enough to go on with. And now I am so curious. Oh, here it is. The observer is over here. That's of course a good position for it to be in. And meanwhile, we've got a handful of Zerglings, and we've got nearly 50 of each. And will we reach the 50 lurker point? I say perhaps we will. 49 lurkers arriving at the battlefield. 49, where will the last lurker come from? Ah! And we just... Oh yes, we just did make it in time before the game ended. And that's GG. Gia taking it over U-Test 2. Now, let's go for another ZVP. And this time it's Marian Deveka, also known as Killerbot. And on the other end of the map, of course, we have got our renowned Protoss Purple Wave. And Purple Wave did pretty good, took 2nd place at CRG, and, well, of course, Locutus won that, so no surprise there. Of course, Crazio wasn't there, and that's a bit of a letdown, but Locutus has been dominating Crazio for quite some time, so don't really know if that would have made that much of a difference. That said, Killerbot is a lot deadlier than is Geobot, and of course Purple Wave is a lot better than UIT Test 2 thingies. So, Killer opening up with a handful of Lings, and the same opening as we saw UIT Test do. Handful of Zealots for Purple Wave, but you can see both these players are very responsive, constantly recalculating the outcome of a possible battle, and of course with 2 Sunkens, Killerbot is pretty safe. Of course the Overlord is helping out with the scouting, and what is a 2-gate is actually augmented by a lot of workers, so it will allow Purple Wave to transition out of it. The question is now, what is Killerbot going to do next, because it's only got 2 hatches and that's not quite enough. But going for a very quick lair, but the Zealots scouted it, and now Protoss knows that something is up. There is... Oh, it doesn't know it, there isn't. Oh, and a full clash, and the Zerglings have it. The Protoss run, and another Zealot kicks it, and the Zerglings, which are still alive, are all full health, save for this one. That one's pretty much dead. Now Purple Wave, what are you going to do? Going to mine some gas, going to go for a Cyber Core, always a good idea because all Protoss tech starts with a Cyber Core. And Killerbot is retreating, and how many Sunkens are there? There are 2 Sunkens, which is good, but perhaps Killerbot can fight with the Zerglings and the Sunkens at the same time. And you can see the Zealots paying the price for their hubris. And now the Zerglings shielding off the Sunkens brilliantly, and the Zealots really can't make up their mind, taking a lot of damage in the process. And no natural yet for Purple Wave. Now Killer is going to go for another hatch, that's always a good idea. And has got the lair, so will either be a lurker thing as well, or it's going to be all about the Mutas. And we are going to have to find out. And these Zealots are taking way too much damage from the Sunkens. They sort of forget about all the Zerglings, and then they run into the Sunkens and they see the Zerglings again, and then take so much damage. And Zerg at this time is defending quite efficiently. Purple Wave going for a lot of gateway units. Oh, here we go, we've got the Mutas. And the Mutas, there are only 3, so you shouldn't fight too head on with them. Killerbot though knows what it's doing and is trying to cut off reinforcements now with 4 Mutas taking on 1 goon. That's good. The other goons though are coming to help immediately, and now the Mutas ought to run because they are taking so much damage. And they just get out alive, and this goon is pretty lucky as well. So for the time being, Zerg in an okay position, going for another Sunken. Drone count is very important for a Zerg, is okay, and mind you that, oh look at that, always targeting the wounded Mutas and being very efficient with that. There is a little bit of pressure on, but these Mutas can't do too well in small groups. And now the main army is coming to come back home. The question is, what is Killerbot going to do behind this? Because this Muta thing will peter out with all the goons being produced, and that's not even counting the goons which will return from the battlefield. And basically this is throwing away a lot of Mutas. Yeah, and you've got 1 left and it's going to flee, but it's stuck on the edge of the map and it's going to die as well. So now we've got 1 Muta and 8 army supply versus 26, and although Purple Wave hasn't really got an expansion, Killer is still on 2 bases itself, so it's not the worst deal right now, and the harassment is going to continue. With the Zerglings and the Mutas, Purple Wave is being kept in its base, and are there any upgrades worth mentioning? Well, +1 air attack is going to happen, but Killerbot might take an expansion while it's got the map control, and with the Lings and the Mutas it can keep control of the map for quite some time. All these goons are being pent up here in the main base trying to defend versus these 4 Mutas. That's basically a large waste, and Purple Wave is not really coming to come into its game plan because it's experiencing the pressure. And now the 3rd base for Killerbot, and Killerbot really needs that because the Zerg army is not strong enough to fight the Protoss army head on. Oh, and now in the mineral line, that is good. The worker count for Purple Wave is atrociously low already. It is 15, and although the natural is started, it's a 15 versus, oh dear, Zerg's got double the amount of workers, got double the bases. And although a significantly large number of Mutas is being lost, Purple Wave is struggling at this point, no mistake about that. Going for more production, and again the Mutas are in the mineral line, now going for a Zealot though, that's a mistake. Might run in the mineral line again, and you can see them going after the workers with a vengeance. And Purple Wave has got its army clustered out in the natural. The workers taking a beating once more, and although a lot of workers are Mutas are dying, now even the Corsair too, the worker count for Protoss is 6, is 5, is 4, is 3, and that's absolute rubbish. Purple Wave being in a lot of trouble. The natural is up and running, but there are but 3 workers and they're all mining minerals, and Zerg now will have to contend with this goon army moving out on the map. There are some Sunkens, there are some units, but the Protoss army is very powerful, and although the 3rd base is up and running, I don't know if Killerbot has got enough to hold this. There is a Corsair as well, and Killerbot right now evacuating the workers. The last Sunken is falling. Some units are coming in from behind. Reinforcements streaming in though for Purple Wave, and Purple Wave's got this massive army at the front. And Killerbot is really struggling. It's building Sunkens over here, but it doesn't need Sunkens, it needs an army. Purple Wave says, well, forget about it, I'm going to do this with 3 workers only. And you can see, well, a lurker might be good here. The main base is in so much trouble. The Hydras, there are 3 Hydras, they are going to... Sunkens are being thrown up in all haste, but there is just nothing there. The Mutas are gone, the Hydras are with their back to the wall, and here come the goons. The workers are all caught, and they are they going to fight or going to flee? It doesn't matter anymore, because there's... oh dear, the drones are just going to die, and the... oh dear, the Purple Wave is rebuilding the workers. So Purple Wave, although it suffered a huge loss in workers, is doing okay now, and Killer sort of trying to restart with the Sunken over here. Is it going to kill another goon? Yeah, might. No, just 2 goons, very low. And there is 1 Sunken left. And it's going to kill a goon. That's good. The prioritizing of these goons is not ideal. 2 goons, 3 goons lost to 1 Sunken, 4 goons lost, and that's about the extent of the damage that 1 Sunken is going to do. But the main base of Killerbot is in ruins, and that is not at all good. The last worker over here is dying, and the Corsair overseeing the destruction of the extractor, and another Overlord falling. And now Purple Wave is in a golden position. It's got double the amount of work, it's got a lot of tech, it's got 30 versus 3.5 army supply, and now it's out on the map hunting. Oh, the 3 Hydras were sent for reinforcement, but they were caught on these power generators, which of course are stacked, and with non-splash damage you are going to take forever to try and kill that. But this base is still up and running for Killerbot. So Purple Wave will now have to find the Zerg, and by the looks of it, Purple Wave is in a very, very, very good position. What is Killer going to do? Going for workers, because that might be just the slimmest chance ever. If you are going to have something of an economy, you might just do it. The Corsair is out hunting, and the Mutas are found. The Mutas, where are the goons going? The goons are checking each base every time. The Mutas in the middle of the map will be killed. Oh, and taking this base again. The Corsair has found it. So the main army of Protoss is going that way again, and this is going to be a hatchery. Worker-wise, Killerbot is doing about as well as can be imagined. It's going for the lair again. This base is still not found, but there is a goon coming that's turning back. Now 3 bases with a lot of workers for Purple Wave, but the Purple Wave army has got hasn't got a lot of upgrades. And what is Zerg possibly going to do? The Protoss will find the Zerg base surely, and then it will be hell to pay. Now more hatches for Killerbot. Killerbot doing okay. Handful of Hydras, but the Zealots can do quite a bit of damage, and here come the goons. So this is not going to work, and a human player, and the Protoss is going to find it, and immediately the entire Protoss army bears down on the poor Zerg, and Killerbot is getting stamped into the ground record speed. It's 100 versus 0 army supply, and that is the end of the game. It's the GG. And next game up is Haupan versus Egbert, and Haupan got another upgrade. It's still based on Ironbot and still trying to iron out the kings that it introduced, while starting with as glorious a base. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Egbert going for, oh dear, oh dear, it should have just stayed on the command set. It might have done a significant amount of damage. And now Haupan going for some pestering with some marines. This marine is going to fall probably, and that's a sort of proxy which is costing Egbert a lot of mining time. And with all the mining time, there is no money for some marines of its own, and that's quite detrimental to many things. There is a bunker up though, so any more marines of Egbert's are going to be outside. And now there are some SCVs mining, and I don't believe that there are any marines in this bunker, but still a lot of mining time lost, and still no, oh dear, this is just the deadliest game of tag. This marine is almost dead. This marine is microing quite well, and now, oh, there is one badly damaged marine left, and it doesn't really dare attack anymore. There are some Marines in this bunker, so for now Egbert is safe. Worker-wise doing okay, and Halpan is going to tack up very quickly, going for factory with machine shop and a very quick starport 1 base. Ooh, what is Egbert going to do now? Because with Halpan / Iron out on the map, is going to do its containment strategy. It's very late with the expansion, and I think that's a result of the pressure it's experienced from other players. Ironbot used to be very on point with expanding to the point of over-expanding, and then it got into all sorts of trouble, and now it does everything of 1 base, and that's just not good. It ought to analyze in what kind of situation it's in, and say, well, I've got the enemy contained pretty well, and I can just take the map and build bases. So that is what should happen. Worker-wise, Egbert's catching up nicely, going for the large Marine army with some medics, with Stim, I believe I heard both players have got it now. And there is 1 siege tank for Halpan, and it just dies! And oh, these Marines of Egbert. Egbert is going to make Marine play its main thing, but the Marines can be quite deadly, and especially versus mines and the containing strategies of Halpan / Iron, it can be pretty good. And Egbert ought to have another bunker though, so but all the Marines are back at home trying to defend against the Wraiths. Halpan losing a lot of units though, and now Egbert has got quite the bigger army. Natural up and running for Halpan as well. Halpan with the worker lead, tech lead, but Egbert can be quite brutal with all the pesky little Marines, and it's just the Wraith which is going to wreak havoc with the army control of Egbert. And that is really why you need to be able to operate in small groups. Now the Marines are going to move out on the map. Oh, that's quite a lot of Marines. Look at that. Oh, and just sniping those mines in the nick of time. And now Egbert is hitting Halpan with a small detachment of Marines. The medics are a little bit in the rear, but now Egbert is in the mineral line of Halpan and going straight for the main, going to kill the siege tank, and will lose some units, but this is doing a lot of damage to Halpan. You can see the supply plummeting. Worker-wise, it's okay, but the natural will be falling shortly, and although there is no third yet for... might do with some turrets, Egbert, the natural is going to fall, and when the natural falls, it's going to be pretty bloody, because there is no army for Halpan, and what army there is out on the map, scattered, trying to get by, do damage where it can, exuding from these this 1 barracks in the middle of the map. And right now we've got so much firepower with the Stim and a handful of medics for the healing that it looks very unlikely that Halpan is going to recover from this. So Halpan really struggling. It's based on Ironbot, but it hasn't got the same power, I feel like, and even if this Marine play is very hard for a bot without a significant amount of siege tanks, and the main base gets gobbled up like this. Egbert really getting into its stride and going for the last refinery. It's not going to work. We'll have to find the last buildings of Halpan though. It does know about this barracks, so Halpan going to fall Egbert with only 2 bases and a lot of Marines. Will it reach 100? No, it won't. And that's the GG. So, another 2 players which have been trying to make a name for themselves. It's Proxy and it's Banana Brain. Both bots have been updated regularly and are, well, growing into a force of their own. Proxy with excellent macro, lacking the technical finesse and technological upgrades to really make things shine. But all in all, it is growing better by the minute. And Banana Brain, the same thing can be said for that Gentlebot. Because with Locutus at number 1 and Purple Wave and Hot Pursuit, there is no reason at all why we should count out Banana Brain, because Banana Brain is going to... well, it's a very solid AI, and there is no reason why it should not be able to take games of these 2 players. Proxy starting out with a handful of Zerglings and immediately the defense at home, couple of, at least 1 sunken. Game of tag going on over here. Banana Brain still susceptible to that. Very quick starport, that seems to be the new game that is going to be played. And the Zerglings, well, they can't really contend with an equal number of Zealots. And the drone is going to fall. The Zerglings, their micro is a little bit messy. And the one in the rear is going to get a swift side blade up its ass and feel the pain. Now Proxy with 2 bases. Worker lead over the Protoss. That's quite exceptional. But Protoss again is teching so very, very hard. It's got a scout. What in the blazes is that? We've got 1 Hydra and we've got 1 scout. What in the hell is going on? And Proxy's only got, going to kill some overlords. That's good. But with 3, and the scout dies, and that's a huge investment. Now Banana Brain's back in the worker lead. Still more technology to come. Templar tech this time, and this is a wacky build order if you ever see one. It is a handful of Zealots into 1 scout into some kind of Templar tech. And Proxy is being very reluctant to take another base, building some in-base hatcheries. That's good. The army is very minute. It's only 3.5. The Hydras are microing well though versus the Zealots. Have they got speed? They have got speed. And the Zealots haven't got it. So that means that the Hydras can pretty much out-micro the Zealots. And now with a couple of more Hydras coming up, the Zealots are in a bit of a messy position. They can't really get to any Hydra. And you can see like a pack of wolves. These Hydras are tearing down the Zealots, and this Zealot will not scout out this base, and that means that Proxy is now... this base is scouted. Although Banana Brain is going for a natural, Proxy has already exploded. And there are some DTs, and that was one of the weaknesses of Proxy. It doesn't really detect anything, hasn't got overlord speed, it's just ignoring the DTs for the time being. I think that these Dark Templars will be fired at when they are going to reach into the range of these overlords, but all in all, the map is now for Banana Brain because of these Dark Templars, and is building some more, so that's always good to see. And then if Templars weren't enough, we are going to see some kind of Arbiter thing going on as well, so that's really pretty ballsy. And Proxy really ought to do something about this Dark Templar thing, because it's doing so much damage. You can see the Zealots getting cut down short, but the Dark Templars, there are 3 of them, are doing way too much damage. There is no detection, and with a couple of spores or a couple of moving overlords, with speed of course, lots of upgrades from Proxy, but no overlord speed at all. And you can see where this leads the Zerg army. It leads it, oh dear, we've got an Arbiter which is breakdancing. But now with about 6 or 7, how many are there? 6 Dark Templar and an Arbiter, and it's actively pursuing the units which aren't cloaked, that is Zealots. No recall yet, or stasis, and but still doing pretty well cloaking the Zealots, and these Hydras. These Hydras, they are so close to being very effective, but without any kind of overlord cover, it's just not going to work. And now it's going to be a run by, and is there an overlord? Yes, there is an overlord over here, and the Hydras just snipe it right on time. Couple of only 1 worker dies. That's pretty well done by Banana, but that's more luck than wisdom. And although Proxy has got a huge number of Hydras, there is still this Arbiter, and versus cloaked units, these Hydras don't do nearly as well. Banana could have built some Dragoons though, because how many upgrades for those? No, haven't got it yet. 3rd base up and running for Banana Brain, and this is a really wacky asynchronous kind of match where Banana Brain doesn't really get any units which can harm large groups of Hydras. There are the occasional Dark Templars. Where are they? One's over here doing a lot of damage. There is no overlord, and now it's in a mineral line. So, there is an overlord just now, and it allows these ground forces to dispatch with the with the Dark Templars. And this Arbiter is really breakdancing like a pro. There is Storm. Are there High Templars though? No, so that's a pity. And it looks like Banana Brain is now paying the price for not having any kind of army whatsoever. Are there Dark Templars left? No, it's just 2 Corsairs and 2 Zealots. And that's not enough if your enemy has got more than half of the map under his sway. And this, yeah, that's a nice Corsair action. There is nothing here, but there are bound to be some Hydras popping up from those eggs. And Proxy doing pretty well. Really also do something about Dark Templars. And I'm going to call the GG and hop into the next game, because as luck would have it, I had a lot of recommendations this week, and I only had to reorder them a little bit to make any kind of a coherent plan. Last game was Banana Brain without an army versus Proxy, and a game before that was Haupan versus... what was it again? Oh dear, I clicked it. I closed it. I closed the tab, and it was Haupan versus... versus Egbert, the Marine bot. So both players, this is sort of the loser bracket of the last 2-3 games. And again, it's going to be a Proxy, and Proxies appear to be pretty popular these days. The probes are coming off the line, one Marine's getting killed, the other one's getting badly damaged, but more are coming, and a bunker rush as well. That's pretty pro. Still one Marine left. It ought to be killed right now. Yes, there it goes. But with the bunker up and running, the bunker will be populated, and this Zealot will not have a snowball's chance in hell. Then again, bunker ought to be repaired, and that's not happening. The SCDs, oh, finally repairing themselves, and the bunker. So I think the Haupan has really gotten away with it this time. In the middle of the map Proxy with a bunker added on is pretty pro, and Banana Brain needs units, is building one Zealot and still building drones. It's not recognizing that it needs units now, and pretty damn quickly. The Marines are coming out, and now the Zealot is going to town. Oh, but it surely hasn't got enough firepower. And this is going to be so painful, and I think that Haupan is just going to feed more Marines into this. And I don't think that Banana Brain will have enough to help them fight this. There are more Marines coming, there are more SCVs coming, and behind that SCV production is going on, and I think this is going to be a factory, so Haupan will be in a golden position, and still the pressure being put on Banana Brain. Banana Brain is not crumbling though, but would really have liked to have some goons to deal with these Marines more effectively. But of course the cyber core's down, and this poor Zealot now with 2 bunkers. It's Haupan's game to lose, but Haupan is not really as decisive as it could have been, and here comes the cyber core again. And if Banana Brain gets some goons to work with, and if Haupan doesn't really get itself together, here comes the goon range. That's good. Marines are coming in, even a Vulture is coming in, but the Vulture is getting caught by... oh dear, that's so cruel. Suiciding 2 goons on that bunker, and this is... well, it's a good tactic, but it's a bit of a clusterfuck of a game, and this goon is going to die as well, and this one as well. Banana Brain really hasn't got a clue how to defend with goons, and behind this, Haupan is going to build lots and lots of units, going to defend over here. Oh dear, I missed it again, didn't I? So right now we've got another goon suiciding, and another one, and now they've gotten a good range on this bunker, and there is no repair. So that's pretty good. The first bunker is falling. All the Marines which can find a place in the bunker, and the prioritization of this bunker is pretty wacky as well. Now all the bunkers die, and Banana Brain just making a very good save with 3 goons. More goons coming up, and behind this I think is going to be the same Dark Templar ploy we saw last game. And the question now, yes, there is something which can counter it. We've got a bunker at home, we've got 2 turrets, and there is going to be a comp set either, but there is no natural yet for Haupan. And worker-wise, Banana Brain has remained pretty much intact. There is, well, occasional workers have been killed, but nothing too drastic. And right now, this marine aggression thing will be stamped in the ground with these goons, with the range. And although there are some mech upgrades, there aren't all that many mech units, so that's going to be a bit of a problem for Haupan. Haupan trying to re-engage with the contain, but hasn't at this point really got the firepower to make that work. Mining up all the bases, that's still a good trick, although most of the good players know how to deal with that. And the Zealot dying, and here come the Dark Templars getting scanned immediately. scanned and another scan, but there is not enough firepower. That means you're basically wasting scans, and now the comp sat is empty and there is no natural. So unless a mine will catch a couple of DTs, it's going to be pretty painful for Halpan to escape from this. Banana Brain with the High Templar. Is there Storm? Yes, there is Storm as well. And Banana Brain, oh, nearly those. Oh, and now with 3 DTs. Chasing 1 SCV, that's just not good at all. You should have just walked in over here, a couple of mines, drag them into the SCVs, and you'd be pretty much set for an easy victory. Notwithstanding though, there is a lot of tomfoolery going on, and although, oh dear, the goons suffer a bit from these tanks, there are now 5 High Templar with the energy upgrade and the Storm upgrade, the energy upgrade. Oh, the energy upgrade is actually coming right now. So I'd say that Banana Brain is in good position, and Halpan still on 1 base. That's so conservative, especially if you are seeing that the main is getting out. I need to have a look at this. Yes, we've got plenty of time for this broadcast. I haven't got a clock. I usually have a laptop, but that's been stolen by my most honorable girlfriend, so it's rough getting by today, but she'll be back, hopefully, sometime. But for this broadcast, we haven't got a clock, so occasionally I will have to have a peek at the computer. Oh, and the bunker just just dies. Ha, too bad. That's too sad. But now 4th base already warped in by Banana Brain. Banana Brain is going to do some damage, and where are the High Templar? There must be more, surely, or did I just miss all of them getting killed somewhere? Halpan still got a good army with some tanks and of course a Wraith. And well, Zealots can't do anything about that, let me tell you that. And the goons, oh, the tanks had a nice position, but they got flanked by a lot of Zealots, and that's just too many Zealots. And I like how every base has got its own pair of photon cannons, so it can just be pretty much safe from any kind of stray vultures. The shuttle is breakdancing for all it's worth. Goons trying to compete with the Wraith, and the whole game is devolving into a little bit of messiness right now. But there we go. And what's in that shuttle? 1 Zealot, and that's pretty well done. That's the Bulldog right there, going to kill 1 tank. And although the Vulture is trying to out-micro the Zealot with help of the Arbiter, I think it's going to work perfectly. And now Banana Brain's got 4 bases mining and defended, and although there is some harassment going on over here, the Zealots are trying to shut that down, and the 5th base of Banana Brain is going to be... Oh, that's a pretty nice Storm. Too bad the Templar which did it got killed or lost or whatever. And now Halpan is in a terrible position, and there is even a Reaver crawling up the map. The eBay is not even in the red yet, so that's going to take some time. But the main base has been broken, mined out, and that's the GG. Next game up, it's Datus versus Microwave. And Microwave, well, Microwave was going pretty strong, even making a go at the top 10, top 5, but then fall behind as other players got better and better. But it's still a formidable enemy, and I really, well, I know what Datus is going to do. It's going to play a very strong game of Zealots, and that's always to be feared, especially as a Zerg. In the early game you need to have some really good defenses and intuitive skills of knowing what's coming, especially if these Zealots are going straight home. Now about 7 or 8 of them are coming to come into the fight with reinforcement being sent from home, and these Zerglings, they haven't got shit on those Zealots, let me tell you that. We've got 1 sunken, and I think that's... Is that going to be the Spire? It's not going to be the Hydrodem, that's quicker. But now there are a lot of Zealots and 1 worker and 1 sunken, and the 1 sunken is not saving all the workers. More workers are being transferred. They are getting killed as well. That is not good. The Spire is not done. And Datus with the Zealot play. What's behind that? Of course you know the answer to that. More Zealots. And the Zealots are dominating the natural. But I think that might just give the main, with only 5 workers in it, a little bit of time to get some Zealots out. Will there be... Oh, Zealous Mutas. There are 5 Mutas now, and the Mutas are going to come into the main. Microwave hasn't got enough money for another worker. Hasn't got 1 worker left, but there are 5 Mutas. Oh, and there is 1 worker left, and that 1 worker is all there is for Microwave. And it dies! The Mutas are so stupid, they don't protect their last worker. They were all just bent on a mad mission to kill all the Zealots. But still, Daedus needs to win this game. And there are so many Mutas. Well, there are, how many are there? 5, 6 Mutas. They can't pack quite a punch. And these Zealots have grown catatonic, and now the Mutas are making their way over to the enemy main. And what have we here? Is that going to be a cyber core? Yes, it is. Are there going to be cannons? Yes, there are. But this is the sweetest E-hand timing you've ever seen. And now the forge is under attack. Are there goons being produced? No, there are not. And every time that these cannons are near completion, the Mutas will swipe them. And the forge is down. These Mutas with a Houdini act of epic proportions. And these Zealots over here have grown completely catatonic, and now it's the workers of Daedus which are paying the price, and these Mutas are really rolling over them, happy as obese pigs in a field of clover, just stampeding everything from above, and that is very, very painful for Daedus. Now the... oh dear, so it's still going to devolve into a base trade, because the Zealots have reactivated the... there are 3 of them, and the... why are they going to mine over here? I don't know. The Nexus is gone. But the Mutas have returned and are going to kill all the Zealots. And the Microwave Mutas have got some pro decision making. They forsook the workers completely, that must be said. And with a couple of workers, the victory would have even been even more decisive. But right now, Daedus hasn't got a chance in the world. Only got workers, no Nexus. And I am just going to call the GG. Okay, so we are entering the last stage of the broadcast, and I already did that. Purple Wave versus Locutus. I've got... after this, I've got 3 more games to play, to cast. So, sorry for showing you the next game, which I had in OpenBW Replay Viewer. But I don't have it on replay for some reason, and I've got a folder of replays which I drag into the screen, so you, well, I can build up the suspense and make a bit of an effort to have a nice theme to a broadcast, or a build-up with a dramatic end, or just keep all the ridiculously bad and funny games for the end. So there you go. Gas steel shut down, lots of mining time lost, and that leads to a gas advantage by Locutus, and Purple Wave hasn't even started the gas again. Instead is going to build a Nexus, probably, yes, there it goes, and trying to contain the enemy with pure Zealots, now starting the gas. So pretty well done in the build order department for Purple Wave. And the Zealots heading back home. The probe is still scouting, sort of, but not really working, and Locutus is teching so incredibly hard at one base, and it's just not fun anymore. But the Natural's up and running for Purple Wave, and has got 2 cannons as well. So these goons will have to fight pretty hard to make anything happen over there. With these 2 cannons, they've got about the same range, and of course the Zealots are there, so Locutus not going to be given the win here by any means. And although some thingies are lost, some Zealots are lost, and 1 cannon's taken a lot of damage, it is by no means a given that Locutus is going to come into this base unpunished. Now the Cyber Core's up for Purple Wave, and Locutus going to lose a goon caught over here. The micro is not that good yet. The war of Purple Wave is pretty sloppy, but I think that's a nice number of cannons to have. With reinforcing Zealots, I think that these cannons can do quite well, and by natural selection you do get a sort of a concave, and while these goons are targeting the cannons and the workers, a lot of them do die, and that gives Purple Wave the opportunity to build some goons of its own. And I'd say that Purple Wave at this point is fighting pretty effectively, going to chase Locutus back to its home. Locutus hasn't got a natural, but has come to the conclusion that it's not getting through with the goon push and is building a natural for itself. Now, these... Oh, that's a lot of pressure from Locutus. Banana Purple Wave can't really stabilize at this point, because the units it's going to make are going to be less than those of Locutus, and Locutus is not again going to fight in this area with all the cannons and the workers store. So Purple Wave is going to get to lose control of the map, although moving out now, fighting loads of high ground, that's never good, especially not with an observer from Locutus overhead. Locutus taking the opportunity to place an expansion, and if you look at this army movement, it's all back and it's all forward, and there is no coherent catching up of the Dragoon with the Reaver. But now the Reaver is landing a couple of blasts, and that is going to hurt a lot. So Locutus down on workers, but has got 3 nexus and a lot of tech, so should be able to make things work. The really threatening thing is that Reaver. Then you've got to micro well, and of course Locutus has got some very good goon micro. And the Reaver! Oh, that was a dud. That would have been so damaging, it would have tilted the battle completely. But Locutus now catching up in workers and building a lot of fighting units with that. So Purple Wave doing a lot of 2 bases and really ought to expand more. And now we've got the situation where or the reverse situation really, with a couple of cannons and a handful of goons, and you can't really get through, and there is no 3rd base yet. The main is getting low. Main's getting low here as well, but there is a 3rd base, and then you have a 2 versus 1 base, and it will get very ugly. Oh, it's such a nice mechanic to have a Reaver over there. And you can see if these goons are retreating, the Reaver is retreating as well, so the Reaver will always be microing behind the enemy, behind the main lines, and never reaching the enemy. That was what I was about to say. But now 2 Reavers of Purple Waves are crawling up to Locutus, and Locutus has got a very puny army, so with a lot of goons and 2 Reaver rocking up the natural, although the main of Purple Wave is basically out. Boom, there you go, and that 2nd Reaver really ought to come into range, and you ought to leave a gap for the Reaver to fire through. And this kind of cul-de-sac thing is really killing too much drones, and that's a nice shot. And another one, but the Reaver is going to die, and Purple Wave hasn't got the reinforcements. The main is out. Main's out over here as well, but this game is not yet done. Purple Wave is not yet done either. It's cutting off a lot of reinforcement, now shifting its attention from the natural to the 3rd. And if with help with this Reaver is going to be able to take the 3rd, it's got a 3rd of its own. It's very aggressively placed, but if Purple Wave will take down this base, which it could easily do, lots of firepower over there, and Locutus is stuck on the main base. It's going to win versus these goons, but there is also another Reaver over there, so that's going to hurt quite a bit. And Purple Wave now with the advantage is very good fighting with an advantage. Did not kill the 3rd base, killing a lot of workers though, and the 3rd base of Purple Wave will be up momentarily. Main is out for Locutus. The natural was started very late, so has got a lot of juice in it, and the 3rd wasn't raised by Purple Wave, so that's not good. And Purple Wave is losing a lot of goons to the cannon, to the goons of Locutus's. And although it's got 2 Reavers, it's really not benefiting from them, as the Reavers are too far in the rear and only occasionally firing a shot at enemy goons, usually only occupied with firing at workers or other targets, which are not really as important as the fighting forces. How is the health of these Reavers? The Reavers are pretty good, but here come the goons, and they win the reconnaissance battle. And there is going to be an Archon, and I don't know if that's the right decision to make Archons at this point. I've had the gas discussion with, and the prioritization is Warlocks, of course. But Purple Wave has taken the opportunity to populate this middle of the base expansion. It's 2 versus 2 expansions. Purple Wave's got 75 workers versus only 40 for Locutus. Locutus has got half the army of Purple Wave, and although you wouldn't think it, Locutus at this point is struggling, and that Reaver shot didn't hit. Purple Wave is under a lot of pressure because its micro is inferior and it's losing so many units to these cannons over here. But still, if this game gets to go on for much longer, this base is operational, that base is operational, immediately the worker transfer is there. And now the only thing, oh, there is a Dark Templar even, and that's good news for Banana isn't even in this game, for Purple Wave. Purple Wave is trying to make it work, trying to keep Locutus contained, the Archon doing some good damage, having caught up with the goons, and although the cannons are coming into play once more to do a lot of damage versus the infantry of Purple Waves now got 1, 2, 3 bases up versus the 2 of Locutus, and there is an Archon, and there is a Reaver. So this Reaver is going to do damage, there is no doubt about that. These Scarabs are hitting hard, and Locutus is trying to hit the Reaver, but in the it's got to wade through all these gateway units to do so. And now the Reaver is taking shots at the Nexus. Purple Wave is putting the pressure on Locutus. Locutus still mining over here. Purple Wave is going to build a lot of units, and you can see the disparity in this game. The third and the natural are going to be out at the same time for Locutus, but the army of Purple Wave is just too big at this point. The last goons with the last wave of reinforcements expel the intruders once more, the cannons firing from the rear, but in the end all is gone and Locutus hasn't got a unit in the world anymore. There is a Reaver again, nice shot, this time doing damage. The Nexus of the natural is taking so much damage, and you can see the army disparity. Purple Wave's got 80, while Locutus has got barely's got 10, 13, struggling to get by. The main's overrun, and every unit that isn't available to defend the natural is falling. The third is the only base mining for Locutus. And Purple Wave, while taking second place behind Locutus at CRG, is really not content to be the contender, is going to make a go at the throne, and you can see how and what style. But this game was very close, Locutus leaving the game, Purple Wave with the clear victory. So, let me have a look. We've got Purple Wave and Banana Brain chasing Locutus, chasing Crazio. So I thought, why not have a showdown? And I must see, yes, I have got some time left. Why not have a showdown? And the showdown is going to be Purple Wave as the blue Protoss versus Banana Brain as the green one. And it's really hard to say or to predict which of these two gentle Protoss is going to take this game. The tug of war with the Zealots, and now a goon for Purple Wave. And I think it, if you've got large distances to cover, it pays to have some goons, because the goons can out-micro Zealots pretty hard. Then, of course, there are going to be goons for Banana Brain as well, and Banana Brain's already got the Citadel, which will lead eventually to a Templar Archives. I am pretty confident. Now, tech-wise, the Purple Wave's going the other route with a Robo Bay and is going to build a Reaver. So that will be pretty pro. To see which of these tech paths will be victorious in the end. The goons of Purple Wave getting cut short. The support of these Zealots is less than optimal, which will lead to some goons being pinned to the wall and subsequently killed. But still, a lot of damage is being done by these retreating goons. There is a shield battery with almost full energy. There is a thingy, a Robo Bay, and of course a support bay. Is there a Reaver in production? Small peak? Yes, there is, and it's going to pop right this moment. And only will need to be kept alive. And at this close quarters, it's going to do so much damage to these Zealots. That was 5 in one shot. There are some goons hammering those Zealots from the rear. And one more shot from this Reaver would be very welcome, and there it goes. And oh, that was such a costly thing, having to eat that last shot for these Zealots. And the goons between the workers clean up the last Zealots. And that was a very, very, very close hold by Purple Wave, but excellently done. Just luring the enemy right into your main base in the mineral line, past all these buildings, and some excellent control with that Reaver. And there is, of course, the next one. So is there going to be a natural? Perhaps, but the Reaver blocked it. And Banana Brain hasn't been able to throw down that Templar Archives yet. The question is, which of these players is going to expand first, or is it just going to be Purple Wave with the superior tech and the larger army to take this game? No natural yet, has got the money. Here comes the probe, but the probe is sort of stupid. And now is going to go for the natural. Yes, there you go. So now you only need to contain the enemy with your superior firepower, with the observer overhead, with the Reaver, with another observer. And also wait a little bit before to bring the artillery along. But with the Reaver, is there going to be another one? Probably, but it's going to take a while for it to reach the battlefield. This is all time in Purple Wave's favor. Banana Brain needs to make something happen and really also press the advantage, because it's got the bigger army. The army of Purple Wave's rather stretched and stretched thinly. The other Reaver is still in the rear. The worker transfer is there, and a third Reaver is crawling up the map. But I still think that Banana Brain can take this army by storm if it doesn't let the other Reaver reach the battlefront. And the Goon Micro of... oh, and it's got the natural of its own. Completely missed that. Sorry, I'm just so excited to see the actual battle. I lose grip of the complete picture of the overall picture of the game. Now with 3 Reavers, I think that the firepower is definitely in Purple Wave's corner. And the question now will be, Purple Wave's got the worker lead. Who will have the third base up and running? And these goons, they don't like facing the Reavers. There are 4 Reavers now, and 5th one is on the way. More production being added, third base being taken by Purple Wave. Purple Wave not overextending with the army a little bit, but just playing it very cool with a lot of Reavers in the background. And these Zealots, they evaporate as soon as they hit the army, because there are so many hard-hitting Reavers over there. And although the third base for Banana Brain's up, I don't know if it's going to be able to populate that. Fighting an uphill battle is okay if you've got 5 Reavers. Then again, there ought to be some supporting units as well, but the Zealots all evaporate, and the Goons, although they take some good shots at these Reaver, they eat too many Scarabs, and all the Goons, oh god! Ugh, this is Goon Graveyard, ladies and gentlemen. And this Goon's pretty much stuck and gets killed. That was a lot of overkill damage on these workers. And now Banana Brain is trying to reach the Reavers again, but still, oh, 2 of them just live. And now the third base, the worker transfer, was completed. The 4th base has started for Banana Brain, but Banana Brain really needs to bring any kind of a hard-hitting thing to the battlefield, because with 11 army supply and a handful of goons and 5 Reavers approaching your natural, yeah, it's going to be pretty icky. And here come the Templar. Is there storm? Yes, there is storm. Is there energy? No, there is no energy yet. Please, for the love of God, keep... That was the storm, and it was not enough. It was not enough, and the Templar, they need to hide. They need to move over here. And another okay storm, but just nibbling at the front of the goons, while the real problem is these blue and golden monsters dishing out the damage. Of course, there is one of Banana Brains, but the natural is completely overrun. The 4th is being engaged. The 3rd is mining happily, but it's not really going to work. And the Templar Archives is there for Purple Wave. Purple Wave now, with the Mechanized Brigade in the natural choke, is going to town on the production. Is there going to be another storm? I don't know. Doesn't look like it. Oh, and look at all the damage. Is the damage upgrade build? That's what I wonder. No, it isn't. Might as well if you've got that many Reavers. But every time these Reavers let slip a couple of Scarabs, the damage is precipitous and is killing so many Protoss buildings and units. And Banana Brain has thrown the towel, because the 4th base is overrun, the 3rd base is raised, and the main base is mined out. So between them, I think that Purple Wave is right behind Crazio and Locutus, and that will take us to this week's upgrades. Of course, this is very interesting. We've seen an upgrade by Crazio after a couple of weeks of abuse by Locutus. Then Banana Brain, then How Pan, of which we saw a couple of games as well. Egbert, still in there, still working. Toothpick Cactus, Pineapple Cactus, Eric Hammer, still up there, but then again, this is a little bit older, so these are all last week's upgrades. So, ELO time. Locutus still at number 1, but it's no longer 2512. It's pretty much more like 2000. Oh dear. 2030, and Crazio is rocking up there and still got a clear margin for between it and Purple Wave. Then Ironbot, still Ironbot, good old Ironbot, updated almost a year ago, and even that was not a major upgrade. Then Banana Brain, Cherry Pie, TSMU, and Literbot. Wow, that's a surprise over there. And then you have got the rest. Proxy working hard, but not really getting too much done. Really needs Overlord detection and higher level tech. Right now, with the upgrade of Crazio, you can feel it coming. And let me check if this really is going to be the game I was wanting to show you. Yes, it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, after a week of abusive run-bys and proxy get 2 gates, Crazio is back in the game with an update. Let's see how it goes. Locutus needs no introduction at this point, has been dominant for about a month, I believe, or at least 3 weeks, and that might just have coincided with Crazio's holiday. I don't know, haven't spoken to him in a while. But here we go. Crazio going for a depot and a barracks. And Locutus is going for the stay-at-home build with the forge and the core. Crazio has taken its sweet time, but has got a bunker up and is going to build an expansion. So no wall, and that will leave it susceptible to run-bys. Here we go. First goon, second goon, expansion. Locutus setting up shop, going for a what looks like, and still the SCV is seeing everything. Seeing the Citadel, which might mean Dark Templars. And here comes the run by, but the SCV sort of block it, and one goon dies, and the other one also almost dies. And only one goon got by, so that is okay. Was a little bit lucky for Crazio that these goons couldn't take the small pass through here, but still one goon in the base is not as bad as 3. With 3 goons in your base without any combat units other than Marines, the game's over. And with a tank and a Marine, I think you're in a good position. Auto repair though, and oh, pro shot by that tank. No follow-up by Locutus. Now Locutus, what's brewing at home? We've got Templar Archives, we've got 3 Dark Templar, we've got 1 shuttle, and it looks like it's going to be a 4 Dark Templar drop. Locutus is playing the cheese card, and it's going to follow the route around the right edge. Is there anything there? Yes, a comsat, yes, 1, 2, 3 turrets, but then again, if you've got 4 High Templars in your lap, they can dish out a lot of damage really quickly. There is a comsat in the natural as well. The shuttle has been spotted, but the danger has not been assessed, and all the 4 Dark Templar get out alive. There is 1 Marine, there is 1 tank, and the comsat is falling. The turrets are down. How many Dark Templars have we got? We've got 1. The scan goes down. There is still 2 Dark Templars, still only 1. There is a turret still, and the turret is just out of range, and this Dark Templar will have... oh, it moves into range of the turret and it dies. So, that was a pretty pro play by Locutus, and Crazio, well, it's very hard for a bot to assess how dangerous exactly a shuttle is, but there might be anything in it. So, that is really some kind of a guessing game that bots are not good at all. And map control wise, you ought to build the turret over here so that it is not as easy for a shuttle to just fly straight into your mineral line. That said, Locutus has not been sitting still, has used some of that huge APM to throw down not 1 but 2 bases, the 3rd base already operational, and Crazio is fighting hard. Got a respectable tank count, and with a science vessel overhead, can take on any number of gateway units. You can see that with the with all the blue soup over here. It's only 4 tanks and 1 Wraith and 1 science vessel, but you are going to need quite a number of goons to play with that, I should say. So more Marines being built. Crazy are going for some kind of a hybrid play, and I don't know if that's the best. I'd say that a couple of more tanks would be most welcome, because Locutus has already started construction on the 5th base, and if you need production, you just need to look at this base and you see a lot of it. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That will be the 11th gateway, and no production at the expansions yet. But still a significant increase in production capacity. Crazio taking a 3rd base, but it's not really protected, and then this happened. He cancels it, that's good. And then you can see why a hybrid kind of play versus gateway units is not really the most cost effective if you are not in the lead. Locutus trying to press the issue, but the Matrix tank is doing a lot and they dare not engage it. Meanwhile, the tanks in the rear doing a lot of damage. We've got 6 or 7 tanks now, that's good, but more bases will be added by Locutus, and all of them with 2 turrets. And that is going to be very hard on Crazio, and more gateways. There are so many gateways. The forge is spinning. More gateways. The other forge is spinning as well. Let me have, and one peek. The production queue for Locutus is huge. It's 10 gateway units at the same time, a Nexus, more gateways, and the occasional observer, a couple of photon cannons, and Crazio is going to get out macroed if it doesn't succeed in taking a 3rd relatively soon. Now the the Marines have grown in number, but they are fighting too far away from the tanks. The tanks really don't get into the battle a lot, which will allow these goons to take on the Marines head on. And that's good, because the Marines can't really fight the goons. The tanks can, but the tanks are too far in the rear, and the tanks are so left without sufficient cover of the infantry. Crazio though is trying to go for a push, trying to fortify the 3rd again, but really ought to, and that is very hard for an AI. Crazio is moving down the left, leaving the 3rd exposed again. And this is really unsound playing. The tanks are left without any kind of cover. This looks like a flank, but only because the infantry has buggered off to do fuck all over here. And now Crazio's in a world of trouble, because this 70 supply army can do a lot of damage. But for the moment, Locutus stays his hand and just mopping up. Oh, the 3rd. That's pretty well done. Crazio, no, has to cancel again. A couple of workers getting caught. Tank line in the rear is doing great, but without the infantry, the tank line is vulnerable. And although it is a graveyard of zealots, of goons, Crazio's natural is a lot less saturated than it could have been. And the main is getting low, the natural is getting low. There is still no 3rd. The infantry is engaging the natural, the Nexus over here, doing great. But with the tanks, they might have done a lot more damage. And Crazio's building another army on the back of a good defensive setup, and Locutus really ought to not to engage these large numbers of siege tanks or medium numbers of siege tanks head on. It's just not working with goons and zealots, and now the infantry is heading home. So I think they should not fight, they should just be... the artillery is coming out to help them, but still a lot of damage incurred by the infantry. The medics are getting low, but let me look at the upgrades. There are a lot of upgrades for Crazio. The Marines are approaching 3-3, and even if you are fighting them with goons, 3-3 infantry with stim and medics is a pain in the ass to deal with. That's really not good. And Crazio needs a 3rd, and needs it bloody yesterday, because now it's basically mined out. And if you look at the income curve, you can see that Crazio is over here and Locutus is over there. So, for all intents and purposes, Crazio is out. Locutus has got the map. Crazio, the infantry, please. To the right, buggers. But there are a lot of tanks, so I don't know what this is about. This would have been so easy for Crazio. Now Crazio is going to lose another round of tanks, and it's something which it cannot afford to do. This base means fuck all if your tanks are all killed. Crazio doing so well with the Matrix, but there is just no support for this one Matrix tank. Another tank over here with 2 Marines, and these Marines please. The Matrix will run out, and even if it doesn't, the tank will be killed. 2 more tanks rolling up. Crazio taking a last-ditch effort at building a third. And Locutus is suffering as well, no mistake about that. Crazio is fighting hard, but all the tanks are gone. The infantry got mopped up individually, and Crazio ought to keep its army together a lot better than it has done, and not try to move in these straight... Really? Just keep it all together, and now these... Oh, that was so close. But now Locutus, if you look at the production tabs, Crazio's got 0. Damn all. Locutus keeps pumping with 10 gateways at least at a time, and now you're going to see Crazio pay the price. Although mine hits are going to wreak havoc with this gateway army, there are no more tanks, there is no more money. The third's up and running, but it's a mineral only, which is not good for all kinds of reasons. Mainly that you have no gas and thus no tanks. Although Crazio's got a bit of a bank, there is no tank left, nothing. And instead Crazio's building something of a factory. This bunker is doing heroic deeds. There is no mistake about that, but Locutus is just in a dominant position, going to hit the third, and that will be the end of the game, because even if this bunker is going to hold for another half hour, Locutus has got enough resources to make things work, and this dropship is not getting anything done. And we saw great play by Crazio. The tank corps was doing brilliantly. The vessels were doing absolutely great. Now going to hit the base again. There is one bunker with 2 tanks. Crazio can perhaps hold for one more dance, but there are only 10 minerals left. 15, 12. The bunker is down. The bunker is down, and Crazio hasn't got a unit in the world. The natural's overrun. And for insult and injury, or just for good measure, Locutus takes the third, which has evicted Crazio out of, and there is only this base left. But Locutus with a dominating performance, nice DT tactics, good early pressure, run by which failed, and Crazio fought so well. This game was absolutely glorious. Crazio taps out, leaves the game, and that was that. I've got 2 more games of Locutus and Crazio. And I make no excuse whatsoever, they are just that good. They are just so good that I can't help it. And perhaps I ought to show only one, because I'm running out of time. And this is what we've all been waiting for. Crazio going for some kind of a wall. And Locutus, what's it going to do? It's bread and butter, gateway with a cyber core. But Crazio this time is prepared, and although this wall is one of the most haphazard and thrown together kind of walls you've ever seen, the goons cannot really get in. They cannot do a run by, and now with the tank they can try to attack these depots uphill, but Crazio is in a golden position and is immediately going for the push. No respite for the wicked, and these paltry 2 goons of Locutus's are going to be beaten back, and Locutus has got a nice foil. It's got Dark Templars, and there is no concept yet, so these Dark Templars could do a lot of damage. Crazio doesn't really dare attack, and this is a weird standoff. These Dark Templars now are going to lead the charge and doing a lot of damage, but then again they freeze, which is absolutely weird. This is very strange. Locutus with another base. Crazio still... Oh, there was a devastating DT drop in the main base. I totally missed that. Crazio taking down the natural. Are there troops coming home for defense? No, there aren't. But, that was a very close hold, and although the center was carved up, these 2 turrets got cut to pieces, but the other turrets gave just enough cover for Crazio to be able to regain control of the main base, and now all bets are off. Crazio has been let out of the box, still only on 1 base. Locutus also lost a base, so Terran 1, Protoss 2 bases. It's a game you can play any day. Now a tank is coming, and Crazio really ought to fight this battle very well. And this is going to be so painful, and a good mine hit also does wonders. The tank, one more blast, it's going to die, and Locutus, Locutus taking the middle of the map again. Mines are a problem though, boom, there you go again. So Crazio again in a world of trouble. Lost a lot of good units over here, lost some SCVs. And Locutus is trying to make it work. Crazio hasn't got a tank in the world, and Locutus is just taking bases. If it's got room to breathe, it will take more and more bases. And Crazio has got 2 tanks. No well, it's got some. It's not really infantry, but it's vultures, and it's trying to be aggressive, but should just focus on the macro aspect a little bit more, because this 1 versus 3 base situation you cannot play forever, and your main base is already at about 50%. Now losing tanks like this is also not recommended. Locutus has, well, it's playing like a monster, but I feel that Crazio can still do more, especially with the bunkers. The bunkers and defensive positions can be more effective. Group your army together a little bit better, and then you can be in a good position again. Now Locutus going for all the bases on the left side of the map, losing units by the bucket load. Crazio with a good defensive position, and with a couple of these defensive positions you can control the map. You could take more bases and make more units, but it's so very hard for a bot to defend, and I don't know if Crazio's up for that. Crazio pushing out and immediately taking the natural. It knows it's screamingly hungry. The main is running out in record speed. Crazio dominating this plateau with a handful of siege tanks, but then again I feel this is overextending it already. And although Locutus hasn't got the greatest army, it's got a huge lot of income. And you can see that these tanks are quite... Oh, that's a bit of a gimme. A couple of good mine hits, a couple of good tank blasts, and Crazio, I don't know why these units went all back into the main base. It's really boggling me. Crazio now setting up shop on this plateau over here, and if it can hold it and bring some tanks to the fight, it can really do damage to Locutus, because all the production is focused in the main base, and if you control this area over here with 10 siege tanks behind it, it's going to be hell. And Crazio is doing just that with only 5 tanks and a handful of vultures. Now got the natural up and running. We'll need a 3rd stat, but for the time being Crazio doing okay, but really ought to be careful with this contain that it doesn't get overrun. Keep the tanks siege and not lose the siege tanks. Locutus has just got too many units, is rolling up. Crazio is has broken the contain, and now it's a run for the main base. The natural is not fortified, and Locutus takes it, and that's the GG. So Crazio is fighting hard, and dear, with the bunker, this bunker of Crazio is doing so much damage, and Crazio has got to do some kind of a push, because Locutus got all the map, but it was just not enough. Although Crazio is leading the resurgence, it is just not enough. So congratulations for Locutus for holding again. Thank you again for watching. Hope to see you again next week, and keep recommending these games. It's been a blast. Goodbye.